And where we take a look back at the 1999 season of the Formula Parma Audi Series.
Round one of the 1999 Formula Parma Audi Sport Championship. The single-seater category invented by Dr. Jonathan Palmer, ex-Grand Prix driver, and taking to the tracks for the first time in 1998 to try and give an even playing field to the young drivers. On pole position for the first race, we just saw Richard Lyons. Alongside him, Richard Tarling. Both these men raced in the series last year, back for more of the same. Car 24, third quickest man in practice, Irish driver Damien Faulkner, also a regular front runner in the 1998 version of this series. Alongside him, car number 18, Derek Hayes. Hayes starts fourth here, didn't do the regular series, but won 4 of the 5 Winter Championship races, so he very much a man to be watched. And we will be watching him courtesy of our onboard camera. Fifth fastest in practice, Justin Keane, another British driver, another hopeful for British Formula One successes in the future perhaps. And in sixth position, Adam Wilcox, a man who has plenty of single-seater action experience in Great Britain and across Europe. Well, early problems for Danny Watts, the number 11 car, not able to make the start with a mechanical problem, but the Parma organisation putting him into a T car. He will start from the pit lane. Meanwhile, this is the view from Justin Keane. And he will start in 5th place on the grid. Thruxton, very high-speed circuit, very demanding of the drivers, and certainly the front end of the field, pretty much all of them have been here before, know what to expect. Making use of his experience, Justin Keane gets a good launch to try and look up the middle ahead of him. But in fact, Adam Wilcox goes around the outside into 5th, Keane down to 6th. There's the two Richards, Lyons and Tarling, head the field. Ooh, a bit of panic braking from Damien Faulkner, the white car on the inside. He holds on to his 3rd place. Derek Hayes down in 5th now. Multicoloured rainbow machine of Bjorn Wertheim looking up the inside. He picks up a position there. It looks as though Derek Hayes getting very sideways in front of him. This is Robbie Kerr heading out into the country for the first time. Side-by-side battle going on just ahead of him, but look at the way he's having to fight the car. Tyres not fully warm and up to temperature yet, so grip really at a premium. Well, the drivers know that the first lap in particular is a good time to make up places if you can, and this may be when some of them will be using some of their turbo boost. Button on the steering wheel gives them an extra dollop of power over the standard 250 horsepower, which can be used for overtaking bursts of 5 seconds or less. Richard Lyons leads Richard Tarling through the chicane. At the end of lap 1, Justin Keane in 6th position. Cement dust being used to mop up oil from the stricken car we saw being pushed off the grid of Danny Watts, creating visibility problems for the drivers. Bjorn Wertheim on the move. Richard Lyons started to stretch his early advantage, staying out of turbo boost button range or any other kind of range of Richard Tarling for the moment at least. Riding with Justin Keane, Derek Hayes ahead of him in 5th place, ahead of him Adam Wilcox. And there is Danny Watts out in the T car. Well, the front runners in this first race of the series know the circuit, know the cars. The cars unchanged from the 98 spec. By Van Dieten in Norfolk, perhaps the world's leading manufacturer of junior category cars. Orange car of Andy Booth under pressure now from our cameraman Robbie Kerr. Makes his move, has to go around the outside though into the braking area. There is oil down there, so you have to be careful which line you choose. Slots in behind Edward Redfern's green and red machine. So a good use, I think, there of the boost button to accelerate past rather than to have to duke it out under braking from behind. Justin Keane starting to lose touch, isn't he, with the 2 silver cars ahead of him. Oh dear. I wonder if Justin Keane made a mistake or is having a little problem here. That's Bjorn Wertheim, who just flew by him. There is Keane, white nose on the blue machine. Wertheim, those distinctive rainbow colours he ran last year. Keane gets back ahead, so whatever the problem was, maybe he just made sure that there was room for Wertheim to pass rather than end both of their races in an accident. Back ahead now and in 6th position, but for how long? Because side by side as they come up to Church is Wertheim. Wertheim has the inside line. Keane really has to back off there. I think Wertheim using the boost button. Let's see now what Keane does. Sitting in the tow up Woodham Hill. Wertheim stays there. So Wertheim in 6th position now. Keane down to 7th. Romain Dumas behind them in 8th place. Derek Hayes, 5th place, chasing these two guys. Damien Faulkner, the white car, again locking up a wheel under braking. And Justin Wilson a little neater behind him, and as a result probably stopping a little better. Robbie Kerr over the back of Edward Redfern under braking. Oh dear. Well, Redfern keeps his rear wing. Robbie Kerr has still got all the wheels on his wagon. I don't know what his nose wing looks like though. I can't imagine that it didn't get damaged. Faulkner 3rd. Wilcox in 4th place. There's Derek Hayes and Bjorn Wertheim starting to come up to the back of them. Finger on the accelerator button there, on the boost button for Derek Hayes. Doesn't seem to have helped him much though. Got close to Adam Wilcox, but it wasn't close enough to put a move in. So that's one gob of boost gone. He'll have to keep his powder dry for a better opportunity. Richard Lyons, still from Richard Tarling, 1st and 2nd. Damien Faulkner 3rd for Ireland. 4th Wilcox, 5th Hayes, and 6th Wertheim. So the two Richards now still the same distance apart, but really pulling away from the rest of the field. Martin Smith leading this little group. Mark McLaughlin, the 33 car, in 2nd place. Oh, and Smith pulling off into the pits. That gives everybody else in that group a chance, and here is the silver car, Jeff Schaefer, going around the outside of McLaughlin, now on the inside line. Two silver cars battling. Adam Wilcox on the inside to the left of the picture. Derek Hayes forced to go around the outside, undoubtedly using the turbo boost up the hill there. Doesn't get it done under braking. Straight lines the chicane. He goes ahead, but I'm sure he'll incur a penalty for that. Bjorn Wertheim now right behind these pair. Replay here of the outbraking manoeuvre of Derek Hayes. Just not enough room for him to stay ahead of Adam Wilcox. Can't make it safely across. Goes over the chicane. Wilcox sees him coming. Make sure they avoid the collision. Jeff Schaefer under pressure from Mark McLaughlin and Charles Hall, the American ahead of the two British drivers. And still the leader continues to roll out the laps. Lyons ahead of Richard Tarling. Robbie Kerr chasing Andy Booth for all he's worth. Have a look at his hands on the steering when you get a chance inboard. See if you can spot him moving a thumb across onto the boost button. Gosh, look, they're really taking a pounding the drivers around these ultra-fast curves at Thruxton. It's not the smoothest of circuits. Well, he did it all without use of boost there. He got a great run through Church and just drove by Andy Booth on the run up Woodham Hill. Under braking, he wasn't under pressure. Good move. Big slide there as he came out of the club chicane. Excellent view from on board. McLaughlin, Charles Hall right behind him. Team Brass Machine holds on. And no pressure at all for the leader, except for perhaps from within. Pressure though for this man, Derek Hayes, 4th place, and the man ahead of him perhaps as well, Damien Faulkner, the Irishman, who's in 3rd. There he is, turning into Church. Leaders Woodham Hill and into the club chicane. All looking very neat, tidy and serene from Richard Lyons. Richard Tarling just as neat and tidy behind, but unable to close. To the final lap they go. Still some resolving of positions to be done behind, if Derek Hayes has anything to say about it. If Derek Hayes has any boost left, or indeed whether Damien Faulkner does, because Faulkner's been 3rd pretty much all the race, hasn't needed to defend too much, so he may have something in hand if Hayes gets close enough to make a move, and Hayes does get close enough to make a move, or at least have a very good look. Now on this last lap out of the complex, it's all or nothing really. This could be a podium position for either man. Both of them sliding. Adam Wilcox, Bjorn Wertheim. Then the 15 car just outside the top 6 is Romain Dumas. Leader now into Goodwood, Village and Church. The three right-handers make up the fastest part of this circuit. Fourth place man will ride with him through Village into Church. Tiny little lift, staying with it as long as he dare on the throttle. The rest of the field following suit. But here comes the leader, Richard Lyons. And unless something drastic goes wrong now, he will take the checkered flag as the winner of the opening round of the 1999 Formula Parma Audi Series. So the Richards first and second, Lyons from Tarling. Successful race for them. Here into the chicane for the final time. 13th place, Edward Redfern holding off Topi Circular. The Dutch driver, Jeroen Bleekemolen, James Pickford and Derek Hill from the USA. Hill, his first race here in the UK. The son of Ferrari world champion Phil Hill. So victory for Richard Lyons then. There's the top six. Bjorn Wertheim sneaking in there into sixth place. The championship very much reflecting that result, of course. Richard Lyons opens his bidding as the series leader. 23 cars on the grid, 8 different nationalities represented, and all of them using the same machinery with control tyres and engines. A format for very close and pretty exciting racing. Everybody ready to go, revs rising to a crescendo as the whole grid this time gets away nice and cleanly. Yes, they do. Near contact in the middle of the field, but Richard Lyons leads them into the first corner as Damien Faulkner slips inside Topi Circular from the second row of the grid. The Irishman is in second place and challenging for the lead at Druids. Riding around the outside with Jeroen Bleekemolen. Oh, and contact there. Danny Watts into the barriers, and who's that with a damaged wing? That's Adam Wilcox. Further back with Justin Keane going through Graham Hill Bend. And his nose wing bashed under the car. You can barely see it on the left-hand front side. He gets past quite easily there by Jeff Schaefer. He must be having tremendous grip problems at the nose of the car. Bleekemolen exiting from Clark Curve onto the Brabham Straight as the leaders approach Paddock Hill Bend. Faulkner in second place, Circular in third. Battle for eighth here. That's Robbie Kerr going past Sam Hancock to take the place. Sam Hancock, the black machine, looks to be fighting back again. Doesn't quite make it. Oh dear, places drifting away here, I'm afraid, from Justin Keane. One of the pre-season championship favourites in big trouble here at Brands Hatch. Looking back now from Richard Lyons, our race leader. Second place is Damien Faulkner. There he is. Familiar orange and green stripes of the Irish flag. Topi Circular third, Derek Hayes fourth, Richard Tarling fifth, Romain Dumas in sixth position, and the rainbow colour car Bjorn Wertheim in seventh place. Disappointing second race of the series as Danny Watts climbs out of his car. And disappointment also for Justin Keane. I'm sure that's the end of his outing for the afternoon. Battles all the way down the field here. And the blue machine there, Derek Hill from the USA, battling with this man, Jeroen Bleekemolen. They're both chasing Tim Mullin's machine. Hill gets by down the hill. Jeroen Bleekemolen's father, well-known racer in Europe. But Phil Hill, Derek's dad, was in fact a Ferrari Formula One world champion, so he's got an awfully big pair of shoes to step into. His dad's been looking after his career. Romain Dumas, the white machine, with Bjorn Wertheim right behind him, and then the 79 car of Robbie Kerr closing up behind them as well. Here's Bleekemolen at Paddock Hill Bend, and just going down the inside of him, number 5, Edward Redfern. Well-made move there. Redfern doing it under braking. May well have used his boost button there to have that extra lunge to get alongside, though, at the end of the straight. Down the gearbox again to Graham Hill Bend, and once more accelerating along Cooper Straight. There's 17, that's Derek Hill. He's chasing Tim Mullin now. Riding with Richard Tarling in the lead group. In fifth position, Derek Hayes ahead of him. Just saw a quick shot of Hayes from the outside, and that's what it looks like from Richard Tarling's viewpoint. Over on the left-hand side is the approved line for Paddock Hill Bend. If you're anywhere but the extreme left, that's because you're making an overtaking manoeuvre, or at least an attempt at it. Replay now of the first lap. And at the top of the picture, contact there as Danny Watts bounces across the nose of Adam Wilcox. Watts out of the race on the spot, and Wilcox with that damaged front nose wing. That will really hinder his chances. And this is what happened to Justin Keane. Under braking, looking down the inside at Paddock Hill Bend. All two wheels on the dirt, and that's not going to help the car slow down. And that is where he damaged his nose wing, and that effectively ruining his race. The rainbow colour car of Bjorn Wertheim under assault from behind. 79, the silver and blue car, Robbie Kerr right with him. Wertheim was sniffing around the back of the number 15 machine, the white car Frenchman Romain Dumas. But I think he's got rather more pressing problems to worry about. Sam Hancock's right there as well in the black machine, so Robbie Kerr had better watch out too. He's right in the middle of that sandwich. Riding again with Bleekemolen, chasing Derek Hill. Ahead of them is Edward Redfern, he's passed the pair of them. And ahead of them is Adam Wilcox, the number 42 machine, still struggling, I fancy, with that damaged nose wing. There it is, bent up. Redfern right behind, then Hill, and our cameraman Bleekemolen accelerating out onto the Brabham straight. Up into top gear and over 135 miles an hour over the line. Oh, and Bleekemolen in the middle of the road, perhaps taking a chance of a move. Adam Wilcox runs wide. Oh, and Derek Hill's lost his nose wing. Oh dear, that's very bad news indeed. Wilcox with a damaged wing. It wasn't his wing, in fact, it was the cover of the front suspension parts that flew over the car. So Derek Hill there with the... Oh no, he has got a very loose nose. Faulkner, Sergula and Hayes, just ahead of number 1, Richard Tarling. Romain Dumas, Bjorn Wertheim still with Robbie Kerr in close attendance. And here is our race leader, Richard Lyons, easing away from them all. Won by just over a second at Thruxton. He's got more than that in hand here at Brands Hatch though. Wertheim having a bit of a look at the back of Romain Dumas again. No chance there to get close enough for an overtaking manoeuvre. Nothing doing on the run up the hill, but oh, a challenge here for Redfern. No, there isn't. There's a challenge for Bleekemolen, in fact. It's number 8. That's Paul Munn trying to go around the outside. Derek Hill has been passed by him, obviously, and Hill hanging on now, hoping to make it to the end of the race without losing too many places. Oh, trouble at the bottom of Graham Hill. Into Graham Hill Bend, James Pickford with his wheels on the dirt on the outside in the number 32 machine. Oh, and somebody else goes off, clatters the barriers. That was Martin Smith. Yes, there's no recognisable number on the number 3 machine. He jumps out. Likely to have done more injury to himself, slipping off the side pod there, actually, than in the accident. So yellow flags there. That's at the entrance to Surtees, 3/4 of the way around the lap. Here come the lead group, or in fact this is really 7th, 8th, 9th and 10th here. They're on the tail of the leaders, Faulkner, Sergula, and there is Derek Hayes. Riding once more with Jeroen Bleekemolen, still chasing Edward Redfern, still with the number 8 Paul Munn behind him, 17 Derek Hill hanging on. Paul Munn able to get past Hill, but not much of an impression being made at the moment on Jeroen Bleekemolen. Not much of an impression being made on Richard Lyons, the leader, either by the chasing group. I wonder whether oh my goodness me! That's Derek Hill! Oh, a massive impact! Derek Hill goes straight off at Paddock Hill Bend. The car destroyed, and Hill not looking too comfortable in the cockpit either. The leaders continue around towards the start-finish line. Their order unchanged, but I'm sure that we will see yellow flags. The marshals straight into action. Derek Hill being kept in the car until they assess his condition. The medical crews right there on the scene at Paddock Hill Bend, but that was a monster accident. He didn't even get halfway round. He went straight off, and I'm sure that loose nose had something to do with it. Well, the leaders continue. Lyons still out front, and looking back now to Damien Faulkner in second place, almost the full length of the Cooper Straight. Faulkner second, Sergula third, then still Derek Hayes, Richard Tarling, Romain Dumas, Bjorn Wertheim, Robbie Kerr, and riding with Richard Tarling in 5th position. Accelerating out of Clark Curve, using the boost button. Very good shot of that there. And, oh, contact behind. Adam Wilcox being turfed off there. Number 33, Mark McLaughlin, going inside him. Wilcox, very quick recovery from his spin. And the safety vehicle trying to get across the track in the middle of the traffic. Derek Hill clearly not in a position to be moved yet. Well, the safety car out on the track and the race being brought right under control. Well, let's have a look here at paddock as the cameras pick him up. Derek Hill's nose is separate from the car. He's going straight on the grass. Oh, and so fortunate to have been turning slightly right. Otherwise, he would have gone head on into the end of the barriers there at paddock. Cars normally go off a long way further round the corner than that. Well, while the marshals and the safety crews attend to Derek Hill, the decision is taken to stop the race. And the result will be declared after 19 laps of its distance. And that sees Richard Lyons declared the winner. So 2 races, 2 pole positions and 2 wins for Richard Lyons. The 1999 Formula Palmer Audi Series so far. Not the way he would have wanted to have won, I'm sure. Good news for Derek Hill. He was bruised, but he's okay.
Position in that first race, but here and now.
Here we go then, the grid's 2x2 on the rolling lap. They come to the line. Will they see the lights go green? Well, they're not in line at the back, but they get the start from the race officials anyway. Richard Lyons in 6th place on the start. Just gets passed into the first corner by the 5th place man and somebody around the outside of him. That's Damien Faulkner, the Irishman. Faulkner alongside Lyons. There he is, the yellow car number 6 is Lyons. Faulkner forced around the outside and he's losing places. Jeroen Bleekemolen goes past him as well. He's got Edward Redfern right behind. Further back with Bjorn Veertime, qualified 16th. The man ahead of him, qualified 17th. That's Mark McLaughlin. Veertime's used a bit of overboost there to get past. And makes the move as they go into McLaren. So position restored to the order they were on the grid then for those pair at least. Here come the leaders. Oh, and Sam Hancock looking down the inside at Paddock Hill Bend, under braking. Well, again, I think the use of the boost there to really launch himself into that overtaking position. Gets the lead at the end of lap 1. Robbie Kerr looking at a 2nd place move. Damien Faulkner with a damaged wing was chasing Jeff Schaefer there. There is Robbie Kerr, number 79, the blue airbox on top of the silver bodywork. He's in 3rd, chasing Tim Mullen. Sam Hancock, the black car, leads. 4th place is Justin Keane. Then the 2 Richards. Richard Tarling ahead of this man, Richard Lyons. 5th and 6th in the race. 5th and 6th they were on the grid. There is Jeff Schaefer. Damien Faulkner in 8th place. Hancock comes to the line. Tim Mullen with Robbie Kerr right behind him. Takes the inside line and forces Kerr to look around the outside. Riding again with Bjorn Veertime. Mark McLaughlin comes back around the outside of paddock, so that's the end of a move from Veertime there. Hugging the inside line, around the outside comes Adam Wilcox. Well, this is about the part on the circuit where Wilcox had a clash in the first race at Brands. He failed to finish that. He gets past Veertime nice and cleanly. Hancock leads, Mullen 2nd, Kerr 3rd, and Kerr under pressure from Justin Keane from behind. And the 2 mainly yellow machines, Richard Tarling and Richard Lyons. Just 3 spots further back, chasing with Jeroen Bleekemolen. Dutch driver with famous racing father, in fact raced Jonathan Palmer, the man who invented this Palmer Audi series here at Brands Hatch, British Grand Prix meeting in Renault 5 Turbo Championship. Time. Still having this trouble with Mark McLaughlin. Viz is behind him and he can't get ahead of him. He's made 2 moves and got ahead twice, but McLaughlin has fought back both times. Now Sam Hancock, late braking again. That's how he took the lead and that's how he's holding on to it from Tim Mullen. Oh, Mullen under pressure now from Robbie Kerr. Kerr up the inside into Druids and they just avoid touching. So Tim Mullen had a very concerted lunge at the leader there, but as a result of compromising his racing line, he lost 2nd place. And will he now lose 3rd to Justin Keane? Keane very close indeed as they turn left through Surtees, right through McLaren. No, there's no room for him. riding with Bleekemolen. Out onto the Bramble Straight we go. Changing up, using the overboost button there. He gets 4 or 5 seconds worth of extra engine power, and it's just enough to put him around the outside as they come to Paddock Hill Bend, but not enough to make a move. Danny Watts, car number 11, retires from the second race at Brands, as he did in the first. A tough weekend for the youngster. Now, Robbie Kerr making a move down the inside. Hancock making sure that he stays off the brake until Kerr's rear wheel starts to disappear behind him once Kerr's slowing his car down. This is great stuff indeed by the race leader. He's been under threat from both men behind him, and he's resisted it superbly. Richard Tarling is in 5th place. Just ahead of him in 4th is Justin Keane. Out of Graham Hill Bend, along this left-hand gentle curve, which is Cooper Straight. And there is the man in 3rd place, Tim Mullen, riding again with Tarling. Nice tight line into Clark Curve, so you can get the power on nice and early on the exit. Goes with the boost button, changes up the gearbox again, and makes the move, goes to the inside. Yes, he had to snap to the inside sooner or later. On the brakes, very, very close to the limit of adhesion there, but he makes the move stick. Justin Keane down to 5th. Richard Tarling carries us up into 4th place. Well, that was a classic overtaking manoeuvre, using the boost button, exiting the corner to get a good run on the straight. And then he waited until Justin Keane went onto the racing line and dived down the inside. Really compromises the grip and the ability of the car to get round the corner, but he held it all together superbly, as you have to make an overtaking manoeuvre there at Paddock. It's a daunting corner. You go in over the crest, blind, you can't see where the road goes, drops away from you. And again, look at this, Sam Hancock really hugging the inside line. Again, Robbie Kerr going around the outside, and again, it's just too far to go. Hancock is desperately late on the brakes. He's managing to keep it all together and keep his tyres alive. With Bjorn Veertime still chasing Mark McLaughlin. Dropping away there a little bit from the tail of number 33 car. Oh, but McLaughlin's lost it! I don't believe it! He's raced so well to hold off Bjorn Veertime. And then he loses it going into Surtees. Well, in 7th place is Damien Faulkner there, the Irish driver you saw, who had that little run wide out of the first corner on the first lap. Sam Hancock with breathing space here. Just a couple of laps to go, and not under challenge there from Robbie Kerr. But he will be watching the mirrors. He's driving defensively. That's why Tim Mullen, Richard Tarling, Justin Keane, Richard Lyons and Damien Faulkner are all closing up behind him. Little lock up from Tim Mullen. Might be a chance there for Richard Tarling to move up again. Field streaming through the reprofiled Graham Hill Bend. And the leader not getting away here at all. Well, Richard Tarling still in 4th because Tim Mullen's mistake wasn't quite enough for him to get by. Big slide on the exit from Robbie Kerr. That means he's getting the power on very, very early indeed, but I think he's used up all his overboost facility. He didn't get alongside there. Richard Lyons having a very good look at Justin Keane down the inside. I don't think he quite got close enough. Shaw again using the boost to come out of the corner onto the straight and set himself up for a manoeuvre into Paddock. Richard Tarling, the yellow and red machine, pressuring 3rd place Tim Mullen. Mullen the pole position man, but Tarling not close enough unless he gets some sort of superb drive out of here, because the checkered flag is waiting. He may possibly make a run for it to the line, but he doesn't have any overboost left. Victory then goes to Sam Hancock, pumping his fist with delight, takes his first win in the Formula Palmer Audi Championship for 1999. Bjorn Veertime comes to the line in 16th position. But Sam Hancock absolutely delighted with himself, and a good result for him. That is a whole bundle of championship points, which will push him well up in the title running. There's the top 6 positions. Richard Lyons still leads from Richard Tarling. Hancock's in 4th. The red lights go off, and a great start from the front row of the grid by Martin Smith. A really demon getaway. Richard Lyons quick through the gears, looking to go down the inside of Smith, but in fact it isn't him. It's Derek Hayes who takes the lead. Well, I don't know what Martin Smith did wrong. He got a very good getaway. He clearly muffed it in the gears running up to the first corner at Ritchie's, because the man from third place on the grid, the 18 car, the silver and blue car of Derek Hayes, leads, but not by much. He's got a yellow nose and a black nose right behind him. The black nose now makes itself shown, and down the inside Richard Lyons tries to force his way through into the S's. Side by side they go through all three elements of the corner, and they're still side by side on the run down to the bomb hole. Fantastic racing, and more side by side racing down the field as well. These cars very evenly matched indeed, but now it is Richard Lyons who shows out front. Derek Hayes in second place, Holman, Martin Smith in third, and fighting off Bleekemolen, Jeroen Bleekemolen, and Smith gets very sideways indeed coming out of Russell. That will lose him time. Bleekemolen really needs to use his turbo boost button to get by on the straight, as into the pits comes Raymond Dumas. The Frenchman has got a damaged nose wing, and that will put him out of the running. Started in 8th on the grid. There is Sam Hancock. He started in 4th on the grid. He's now down in 7th. Replay. And the 24 car is the one he rubs up the wrong way. That's the tail end of Damien Faulkner. And that is how Dumas lost his wing. Let's hope Faulkner is not damaged by that contact. As past Jeroen Bleekemolen goes the number 1 machine of Richard Tarling. Tarling started 7th. He's now up into 4th place. Well, if he hasn't used his boost button in the opening lap and a half, I don't know how he's done that. Starting now with Tim Mullen further back down the grid. 14th we start. This is just to give you an idea of how frantic the first corner always is in any kind of race. Mullen picks up a couple of good places though. Right behind Bjorn Wertheim, goes down the inside of Wertheim. The Scandinavian driver stuck on the outside. Great start by Mullen, excellent racecraft. Finds the gaps, makes the running. Wertheim on the outside, Mullen checking the mirrors. Now Wertheim's on the inside line to get onto braking, but he doesn't have the ability to hold off Mullen, and Mullen went past Dumas there as well. So Tim Mullen, what a great opening lap. Glad to see that one. And there is Mullen right at the back of this leading train, and he is still charging hard. And so is Damien Faulkner, the Irishman, coming inside Jeroen Bleekemolen. So the Dutchman goes down to 6th place, Sam Hancock in 7th, Justin Keane behind him in 8th, and then Tim Mullen is in 9th place. And a look back at the S's towards the end of lap 1. The leaders side by side, Hayes and Lyons, but look behind them in the middle of the pack. Around the outside on the right-hand side of the picture, Edward Redfern gets out of shape, spins across the track, takes off Mark McLaughlin, and the yellow car facing the oncoming traffic in the middle of the road. A worrying moment, several of the drivers bouncing over the curbs. And in fact, one of them was to go no further. That was Andy Booth, who bounced himself into a spin and out of the race. Out of Coram Curve with 7th place Sam Hancock. And onto the brakes, down the gearbox we go, and the leader's on the grass. Across the grass goes Derek Hayes. Outbraked himself, and how did he get into 2nd place? Martin Smith was 3rd, now challenging for the lead, so he went around the outside of Richard Lyons. That must have been pretty frantic, and now look at this, Hancock across the pit exit, and he gets past Bleekemolen, and a big slide on the outside of Ritchie's. Right up behind Damien Faulkner there was Sam Hancock. Now as they turn into Sear, he's still there. He may have a chance to make an out-braking move. This is a real slipstreaming straight. Faulkner's going around the outside of the car ahead, and that is the man who led at this stage last lap, Derek Hayes. We go past him with Hancock as well. So the two of them getting out of the corner better than Hayes. And Derek Hayes is very brave indeed through the S's. Sam Hancock has to sit there, but Damien Faulkner goes off. So they both pick up a place. Faulkner loses 3, 4, 5, 6 places if Bleekemolen gets past him, which he doesn't, but Tim Mullen has. Oh my goodness, what a lap that was. I thought the first lap there was enough swapping of places going on. Again with Sam Hancock. Again it's Derek Hayes ahead of us. Now let's see where Hancock's hand is. On the gear lever, accelerating up the straight, changes up again. He's not using the turbo boost this time, he's just getting the aerodynamic slipstreaming effect. And Hancock onto the brakes, desperately late, scrabbling for grip all the way around the corner, but he's got it all together. Oh dear, no time to catch our breath. Let's look at the same straight again, but this time with Tim Mullen going past Justin Keane and Jeroen Bleekemolen before he even gets into top gear. The slipstreaming battle ahead of us. We are closing up behind Derek Hayes, and there it is, side by side under braking. And Bleekemolen comes around the outside, but he's having none of it. There's Damien Faulkner. Whoops, careful, Tim. Damien Faulkner coming back on. End of the lap here at Russell, and on the grass is the silver car of Finland's Topi Särkilä. And just avoiding a contact there of devastating proportions with the darker car, that was Jonathan T. And a three-way battle here. Again, Bleekemolen on the brakes on the inside. Hayes braving it out through the S's as he did in the first lap to take the lead of the race. Richard Lyons gets a rather cool ahead where it mattered at Russell though, and as a result he leads to the checkered flag, punches the air as he clenches victory in round 6 of the Formula Parma Audi Championship. Smith second, Tarling third, Hancock there fourth, Tim Mullen in 5th place, and the battle for 12th takes to the grass. Jeff Schaefer and Derek Hill both rejoin, but it is victory at Snetterton in round 6 for Richard Lyons. A great fight up into the top half dozen by Tim Mullen. Lyons though, victory. Martin Smith second from pole.
In the second race at Snetterton, Justin Keane broke away to lead the pack, but there was chaos at the S's, and Mark McLaughlin was forced into a spin. As cars avoided the Team Brass car, McLaughlin rejoined, but retired later with broken rear suspension. He wasn't the only one involved in the incident. Booth was also caught up and lost bodywork on his way back to the pits. Meanwhile, back at the front of the race, Justin Keane continued to lead. He built up a substantial margin over second-place man Mullen. Next up was pole sitter Martin Smith, then Faulkner, Lyons, Dumas and Bleekemolen. Further back, Magoes Hermanto lost it at Coram and clattered into the barriers. Meanwhile, Sam Hancock was fighting for 8th place, but he was a man in for a shock on the Revit straight.
Oh my goodness! He's off! And somebody else involved there as well. That must have been Robbie Kerr who was alongside him, and it doesn't quite roll. I can't believe that. Oh my goodness, a very, very big accident. The fire extinguisher went off in the car because of the severity of the impact. They're triggered to go off from G-forces or by being manually triggered. Sam Hancock, thankfully, gets away from that one without the car rolling, but there is precious little left of that car. The safety car being scrambled, just misses the leader. Justin Keane, the number 7 machine. We'll see yellow flags and the safety car sign when he comes across the line. He'll hopefully slow down and allow the safety car to catch him. Riding with Tim Mullen, hand out to the cockpit, acknowledging to drivers behind that he is slowing because he's seen the yellow flags and the safety car sign, just to warn them so that they don't cannon into the back of him. Well, that is a pretty frightening onboard look there with Sam Hancock of a clash between him and Robbie Kerr. Justin Keane goes as gingerly as he can around the wreckage, slowing right down, waiting for the safety car. The rest of the field will bunch up behind it. Riding then again with Sam Hancock down the Revit straight in 5th gear, accelerating hard, and contact made there. He slams into the barriers. See Robbie Kerr's car there alongside him, all going fairly safely there until, as it turns going backwards, gets up onto the side of the car and then fortunately crashes back down on the wheels rather than on his helmet and the roll bar. Sam Hancock, a very, very scary ride there. Safety car pulling off, 2 laps to go. Justin Keane with Damien Faulkner right behind him, Martin Smith third, our man Tim Mullen here in 4th place, getting a good run up to the green flag. And Romain Dumas looked to have passed Martin Smith before they got to the line there. He was certainly moving alongside him, if not actually by him. And at that stage, until you cross the line where the green flag is shown, you are not allowed to overtake. So I wonder if Romain Dumas will be allowed to keep that position. I rather suspect he might not. Well, it's perhaps a little bit academic because he's lost it once more. Romain Dumas might still find himself faced with a penalty for that move on fifth place man Richard Lyons. Keane, Faulkner, and then everybody else in third place. Smith, Mullen behind him. The two white cars of Dumas and Bleekemolen. Tarling. Oh well, Tarling's got past Lyons. Lyons has been shuffled right down the order there. Derek Hill getting very skittery ahead of Bjorn Wertheim out of the S's. Here come the first two. Smith and Mullen behind them. Then Bleekemolen, Dumas, Tarling, then Lyons. Richard Lyons really will have to have a little think about this race, watch the tapes afterwards and figure out how he can be a little better away from the restarts. With the rolling starts and with the restarts behind the safety car that are a feature of the Palmer Audi Championship, he really needs to make that a more important part of his game plan. Danny Watts down the inside of Robbie Kerr, the 79 car, the car that collided with Sam Hancock and brought out that safety car. Robbie Kerr, obviously, although he had a trip across the grass, seems to be pretty healthy in spite of that. The big loser, really, after that safety car period was Richard Lyons. So Mullen here gets passed by Michael Bleekemolen. Bleekemolen lost lots of places earlier on in the race and seems to be intent on getting a few back now in the last couple of laps. Leaving it a little late, perhaps. There's Richard Lyons further back down the order. A couple of spots behind him. Well, the checkered flag waits for Justin Keane to take his first win in the Formula Palmer Audi Championship, and he looks as delighted as you might expect. Raced in the series last year, winless in that, but he takes the victory here over the curbs. Well, one on the inside, one on the outside. Derek Hill, the loser there from that little last corner kerfuffle. Justin Keane celebrates. And just to show that problems earlier in the race can come back to haunt you, James Pickford goes off on the final lap at Ritchie's, his wing snapping as a result of earlier contact. Well, he'd worked himself into the top 10, but destined not to finish. Victory though, and the winner's spoils go to Justin Keane. Damien Faulkner never really able to challenge him in second place. Smith having a tough race in third, holding off Bleekemolen at the end. Well, Richard Tarling in the championship lead still after 7 rounds.
Under heavy skies at Brands Hatch, Justin Keane was the man who led away on a wet but drying track. Behind, Damien Faulkner got the drop on second qualifier Robbie Kerr to take his place into paddock. Richard Lyons was next up, while Winter Series winner Derek Hayes was making progress through the pack. Hermanto starting well, but behind, Jamie Pickford and Danny Watts tangled going into Surtees. On lap 2, leader Keane fell off at paddock and was left with a long walk back to the pits, while championship contender Richard Tarling started from the pit lane and was making up places fast.
And here, oh my goodness! Here comes the battle between Richard Tarling and Jeff Schaefer, and Schaefer, touched on the rear by Tarling's car, goes heavily off into the barriers. The fire extinguisher was going off there as the car crashed, and the safety car is out. Tim Mullen, the race leader then. Richard Lyons behind him in second place. And Tim Mullen with Richard Lyons now right behind him. When they come to restart, he will have to work hard. Let's have a look again. Tarling, the yellow, red and blue machine, looks down the inside, gets alongside but gets a big slide on. And poor old Jeff Schaefer, absolutely blameless. He left Tarling plenty of room. They could have both got through. Tarling just losing control of the car, and Schaefer's steering being punted by the sliding car. Well, the American, very, very unfortunate there indeed. I'm sure Tarling absolutely had no intention of doing that. That was clearly just a loss of control of the car rather than any kind of badly judged move. On the wet road, you could argue that maybe the move needed a bit more care, but he certainly was unfortunate there, Schaefer. Well, they go green again, and as you can see, the track is drying, and that will be bad news for these wet weather tyres. Good news for Richard Lyons, though. He uses the momentum of coming up behind Tim Mullen and takes the lead. Mullen now down into third place because Robbie Kerr has gone past him. Oh dear. Very bad news indeed for the Ulsterman on the restart. From first to third, that's dreadful. Michael Bleekemolen lost a couple of places there as well. Sam Hancock got past him and Toby Sergula did as well. So here's our leader, Lyons, then Kerr, then Mullen, then Hancock, then Sergula, then Bleekemolen, then Weertheim, then Booth. Lyons running away. Kerr in second, and Sam Hancock again looking for third place. On the run into Dingledale chicane, he goes over the gravel on the outside, but just with one wheel. Oh, how did he get away with that? You can't make mistakes at Dingledale and get away with it. Somehow Hancock did and held on to fourth place. He's lost a little bit of his ground to Tim Mullen, but still in fourth. Well, that's a very lucky getaway there. Of course, he'd probably say it was great car control, and who am I to argue? Derek Hayes now trying to go around the outside of Martin Smith. Smith on the low side of the racetrack, the yellow and black car. Hayes around the outside. Well, we saw him use a little bit of turbo boost, using the left-hand thumb. But look at this, Damien Faulkner up the inside of both of them, and he goes past Martin Smith at Druids. So he got past both of them there. There is Faulkner just going out of shot at the bottom of the hill. And there is Richard Tarling following them. Lyons leads, Kerr right with him. This is the battle for the lead, no question about it. The others not factoring here. Third place Tim Mullen, fourth Sam Hancock. Then Toby Sergula. Well, now around the outside, high, wide, and if you like, handsome, coming out of Paddock Hill Bend was Robbie Kerr. He was ahead at the start line, but Richard Lyons holding the inside line, managed to get the best of the braking. Lyons squirming again under braking here at Druids. It's very, very close to the edge of adhesion. In fact, they are slightly beyond it at times. You can see the cars really moving around. Closing in on them now in third place is Tim Mullen. And a move again down the inside from Robbie Kerr. He's very determined here. He makes contact with Richard Lyons. He gets a better drive out of the corner and over the hill and down Pilgrim's Drop. He will be the race leader for the first time. And what's more, Tim Mullen's moved up into second, so Richard Lyons goes down to third. Sam Hancock is in fourth, and what a big gap to everybody else. Well, these lead trio have been caught by Sam Hancock. Can he continue and work his way onto the back of the group? Last time across the line, it was Richard Lyons who was fighting off Robbie Kerr for the lead. Now it's Kerr leading. Mullen second, Lyons third, and Sam Hancock runs wide over the gravel at Dingledale. He can't keep on doing that. He got away with it once, but I don't think it'll happen again. There is very little margin for error. The track really drying out here in the sunshine. Let's have a look again. Lyons on the outside, just the tiniest contact there as he and Robbie Kerr touch wheels. Kerr gets a good drive. Lyons had to get out of the throttle there to control the car through Surtees. Now, Richard Tarling from Martin Smith. Smith going down the inside. Paul Munn's silver car alongside Tarling. Derek Hill behind and going alongside as well. Not room for four of them there, surely. No, there isn't. Somebody's lost something, and it's either Tarling or, well, Munn goes off. Tarling's wing's been damaged. I think Derek Hill's has as well. Yes, it has. Tarling makes contact with Martin Smith. They both continue. Tarling with the damaged nose ring. Paul Munn in the gravel on the outside of Druids. And yet it continues. 9 is Andrew Booth. Inside him goes Damien Faulkner. Contact. Booth pushed a little bit wide. Faulkner goes through there. Let's have a look at this one again. Martin Smith, the number 3 car, yellow and black. The other yellow car on the outside is Richard Tarling. Silver car of Paul Munn goes inside him. Inside him again, the red, white and blue car of American Derek Hill. Contact first between Tarling and Munn, then Tarling and Hill, then Munn and Smith. And eventually Munn goes off on the outside. Tarling, damaged nose wing. Hill looks to have a damaged wing as well. That will hamper their efforts. Yes, oh, Tarling's nose really mangled. Derek Hill's still looking slightly more like it should do, but the checkered flag is out, ready for Robbie Kerr to win at Brands Hatch, and so he does, from Tim Mullen. In third place, Richard Lyons goes across the line. So So Robbie Kerr, the victor there of a very close fought race. And look at this. Oh, goodness me. For 13th place, Richard Tarling, half a nose ahead of Derek Hill. And what's left of it? There are Kerr, Mullin and Lyons on the podium. Hancock, Wertheim and Bleekemolen, the other top 6 finishers. An important finish there for Richard Lyons because he now takes the championship lead from Richard Tarling.
Donington Park plays host to rounds 9 and 10 of this year's Formula Palmer Audi Championship. The series being led by Richard Lyons, although Richard Tarling and Tim Mullin are his 2 main rivals. The man on pole position, though, is Justin Keane, who's had 1 win already this year. He's looking for a 2nd here at Donington. Alongside him is Topi Sigala, the young Finn, who has yet to win in an FPA race. But at Donington, he aims to redress the balance. Lining up 3rd on the grid is Sam Hancock. He's had 1 win this season already. He's also looking for a double at the Donington doubleheader. And 4th on the grid is Richard Lyons, the man who leads the championship. And he is the winningest driver this year, 3 wins having gone the way of the very impressive Richard Lyons. The race itself then, over 12 laps, it's the full 2.5 mile Grand Prix circuit in use. A very big crowd here at Donington for a great sports car and single-seater meeting. The green flag there waving at the back, that means that everybody's where they should be. The drivers now look towards the lighting gantry. We're on board with Damien Faulkner, 4th in the championship. Lights go green and we're racing. Good start by Damien Faulkner then. The 1800cc turbocharged FPAs make their way down towards the right-hand of Redgate corner for the first time. We're looking back for Topi Sigala's car. Wow, that was close. Richard Lyons right behind it. The man in the lead though is Justin Keane as they accelerate downhill for the first time. And a very good start by Justin Keane. He's being chased by Sigala, and Richard Lyons there, having got so close to Sigala's rear car, is now having to take his pace a little bit more conservatively down the hill. We're looking from Edward Redfern's view now. Just being kicked up into his face as the cars make their way under Starkey's Bridge for the first time. But it's Justin Keane in the lead. In 2nd place then is Topi Sigala. In 3rd place is Richard Lyons. 4th time being Sam Hancock. Everybody else filing their way through in good order. Out of McLean's corner for the first time. Bjorn Wertheim's multicoloured car going from the inside. And Justin Keane now doing his level best to pull away. Remember that the drivers are able to use their turbo boost buttons 3 times during the race to try and give themselves a little bit more grunt in a straight line. And Danny Watts now looking for a way past Mark McLaughlin in the Team Brass Run car. Coming into the S's though, in the lead is Justin Keane. And losing out is Robbie Kerr, in fact, because they're diving back past him as they turn their way through. It's Martin Smith. He gets ahead of Smith though, coming out of the S's down to the Melbourne hairpin. It's Keane in the lead, Sigala 2nd and side by side for 3rd. A brave effort made by Sam Hancock, but on the outside line that's not really going to work, is it? 1 or 2 drivers being very optimistic there in their late braking, locking up as they come down into the corner. Richard Lyons asking a lot of his tyres to look. Once again we see him locking up going into the corner. Tyre smoke coming off the front right of the car. And right on his tail, going now down through the S's is Sam Hancock. Can he find a way around on the outside? He's going to have a jolly good go about it. Sam Hancock runs wide. Richard Lyons with the tighter, better, quicker line kicks the pace, and there, rally crossing his way through the S's, making a real mess of it was Derek Hill. Now we're on board with Robbie Kerr. Richard Tarling just ahead of him. Richard not having a very happy weekend at Donington. He was only 9th on the grid for this race. Down they come through the Melbourne hairpin. Back on the power goes Robbie Kerr. You can see him having to twitch away at the steering wheel there as in comes the power, making his way up towards Goddard's. An effort made on the inside there by Tarling to gain a place, and through he goes and goes very, very wide. Oh dear. Brake far too late, a mistake there, and now we've got bodywork flying off a car. They look as though there might have been contact between Tarling and let's try and identify who it is as they come down now towards Redgate corner. There you can see the car in question. It's number 18, Derek Hayes. Derek Hayes having made contact. In trouble is James Pickford. He's got broken front left suspension, I'm afraid, so he's going to be heading for the pits. The man that won the Aintree Racing Drivers' School Scholarship a couple of years ago. He's been very successful in Formula 600. Going wide in number 8 there as well, turning out of the right-hander of Coppice with Paul Munn. He loses a place to Bjorn Wertheim. Edward Redfern is going to get past him as well. He's on the outside line coming into the S's. Can he get past Wertheim? No, he can't. Back through goes Paul Munn on the inside, touches the curb, bounces across the front of Edward Redfern, who almost touches the back of him, coming out of the S's. Those 2 cars so close, making their way down to the hairpin, but up the inside goes Edward Redfern. The ex-Formula Ford racer can't quite go through, but then Paul Munn drifts wide. That should play into the hands of Edward Redfern once again. There goes number 79, Robbie Kerr, turning his way into the left-hander of Goddard. And further back on the inside there goes Derek Hayes, gaining a place off Richard Lyons. and Robbie Kerr having a go at him as well. Richard Lyons, for whatever reason, is losing pace. He's dropping further and further back down the order. The car not looking as quick as it was earlier on, and Richard now battling to stay in the top 6. Damien Faulkner turning his way up into the right-hander of Coppis, locking up there. Saw the front right wheel stop turning briefly, but he now gets the car back on the straight, up a gear, heading towards the Dunlop Bridge, and then he'll be on towards the S's. Down, down, down through the gears, hard on the brakes, turn left, touch the curb, turn right, touch the curb, and get back on the power. Head now towards the Melbourne hairpin. He's going for it, up on the inside. Is he going to be able to go through? Yes, he is. A place gain, and that was a very brave bit of overtaking. Coming towards us though in second place is Toppis Ayala. He's not given up yet in his quest to get ahead of Justin Keane, but I don't think he's going to have time in which to do it. Up now, across the line they come. Justin Keane, the man in charge, being chased by Ayala. Third now is Sam Hancock as Richard Lyons tumbles ever further back down the order. Coming through in fourth place is Tim Mullen. Fifth behind him now is Derek Hill. And the rest of the field turning their way through the right-hander of Redgate corner. Further back they're being a bit strung out. But number 3 there, which is Martin Smith, up behind. A very tight battle indeed going out of Redgate. Down through the crater curves, heading into the braking area for the old hairpin. There's Mark McLaughlin's car, looking even more battered now than it was at the start of the race, when it had half its nose missing. Look in the top left corner of the screen. Let's try and work out what happens as they come out of Coppis. Yes, he runs there into the back of a rather slower Jeff Schaefer's car. That rips off the nose of the car clean altogether. That means that Mark McLaughlin's rather unaerodynamic FPA now. He's a bit lighter, but a bit further down the field.
Meantime, Justin Keane with the Marshall Toughlex car kept his head and continued to lead around the final corner, Goddard's, and went on to take the checkered flag. Second place went to Sergula and third to Hancock. Adam Wilcox and Derek Hayes also had a battle royal that went right to the line. The spoils of victory though, congratulations from Jonathan Palmer to Justin Keane, winner at Donington Park. And confirmation of the places there with Keane in first, Sergula second and Hancock third. Ulsterman Richard Lyons led a close battle in the second race of the weekend at Donington. He was chased through the chicane by Sergula and Keane, while behind Martin Smith steamed down the inside of Mark McLaughlin. And out of the race, the incident also involved Derek Hill. Later, Sam Hancock tried an ambitious move on Bjorn Verdheim at Redgate and finished in the gravel. Hancock's day run. Meantime, back at the front, Sergula pressured leader Lyons.
Can Lyons hang on and score what is going to be win number 4 of the championship? He might just be able to do it. Ayala close, but not quite close enough to wriggle away past yet. Turning their way through the right-hander of Redgate corner. There goes car number 18 in the hands of Derek Hayes. The snatch vehicle on the scene to remove Sam Hancock's car. And the Red Arrows come to have a look as well as they make their way over the circuit. All of this being played out in front of a crowd that's not quite sure whether to look at the track or at the sky. Toppis Ayala, though, is looking resolutely in the back of the car ahead, that of Richard Lyons. He's turning his way through Schwann's curve. And that is not Sam Hancock, that's a Marshall having a lift back to his post. The Sam Hancock's car is dragged out of harm's way. Up though for the last time into Coppis. Toppis Ayala has now only got the S's and the 2 hairpins to go. In the meantime, this is contact. Danny Watts and Paul Mann collect one another going into McLean's. Off into the gravel, half a lap from the flag, and the pair of them go off. Danny Watts is going no further, but Paul Mann has been very, very lucky to get the car out of the gravel bed. Danny Watts, though, out of the race on the last lap. There goes number 1, Richard Tarling, who's had another pretty unhappy race. He's down in 9th place at the moment as they turn their way out of the S's. But Richard Lyons locking up for the last time, going into Goddard. He goes wide, but what about Ayala? He goes wide as well. So Richard Lyons doesn't lose out. He comes up to win by just 0.3 of a second over the line. Now he goes as further back. Richard Tarling is trying to go through on the inside of Adam Wilcox, and he goes through, doesn't he? But he goes a little bit wide. Battles right the way to the checkered flag. A win, though, for Richard Lyons from Toppis Ayala, the gap just 0.369 of a second between the two. Lyons, Sayala and Justin Keane, the top three ahead of Damien Faulkner, Derek Hayes and Jeroen Blekemolen. As far as the championship is concerned though, it is Lyons ahead of Tarling, Tim Mullen third.
23 cars ready to go, the green lights, away they go, and a dreadful start from the white car of the pole position man, Blekemolen. Here comes Richard Tarling from fifth on the grid. He goes past him into third place at the first corner, but Damien Faulkner leads from the championship leader, Richard Lyons, in second place. Running wide there a little is the 33 car of Mark McLaughlin. Now with Derek Hayes. Hayes started in 10th position, and just ahead of him, a couple of cars ahead of him, is the white machine of Blekemolen. So Blekemolen, squandering his first pole position in Formula Parma Audi, has a dreadful takeoff and swamped by the front rows of the grid. Well, several drivers have made up a lot of places away from the start. Derek Hayes trying to take some of those back, loses it under braking, oh dear! He's hit Martin Smith, that's the number 3 machine, and Derek Hill as well. There goes Hill back onto the track, Smith in the number 3 machine, spinning it round, 11 there. That is Danny Watts, and of course Hayes off the road as well. So 4 of the midfield runners substantially upset by that move. Very easy to get it wrong under braking as well. Look at this though, this is the battle for the lead, a 3-way squabble. Faulkner, Lyons and Tarling, then Mullen, Hancock and Blekemolen, the top 6 drivers. Pole position man down to 6th spot. They're out of the race, disconsolate Derek Hayes. Silver car then of Damien Faulkner. Yellow car with the black top is Richard Lyons, and the other yellow car there, Richard Tarling in 3rd place. Going down the inside of the number 4 machine there of Topi Circular was Adam Wilcox, riding now with the Kiwi driver Andy Booth. Down into the braking area at Beckett's, and then turning right through the re-profiled Ireland bends. There he is, the number 9 machine. Qualified way down in 19th place. Got a lot of making up to do. Derek Hayes here coming down into Abbey, offline on the dirt, back end of the car, gets away under braking, bang, bang, there was Hill, the 17 car, Smith, the number 3 machine. Of course, we saw the other 2 involved in that as well. And off is 32. James Pickford qualified 23rd and last. Gets the car back onto the grey stuff. Now gets past for his pains by Danny Watts. Watts going around the outside and nearly losing it himself. Riding with Andy Booth. Replay of his run down into Abbey. And there, going round, is Hayes. Door opens up ahead of Andy Booth as he aims for the spinning car. That's the rule. Battle now for 3rd place. Down the inside goes Tim Mullen. And he picks up 3rd from Richard Tarling as we ride with Tarling over the rise and down into Bridge. Flat out right-hander. Losing a bit of speed as the car loads up. Down a gear now. Into Priory. Up into 4th again. And then down into 2nd for Brooklands. Big slide from the car ahead. Mullen holds onto it though. 55 miles an hour or so around here. Still in 2nd, 3rd gear now, and accelerate quickly into 4th gear, picking up speed through Woodcote. Under the bridge, they'll snatch 5th, getting up to a maximum speed of over 150 miles an hour before they brake for the next corner. Here is your race leader, and he is now at the 3rd gear. Ireland bends, 4th gear quickly as well, and accelerating along behind them. Richard Tarling in 4th place. Outside the top 10, number 5 here, Edward Redfern, chasing Mark McLaughlin. They're squabbling for position in the teens and doing himself no favours here. Danny Watts, a bit too energetic with the throttle muscles, coming out of Woodcote, losing it on the grass. Faulkner, Lyons and Mullen, the top 3. Then Richard Tarling, and right behind him, the battle for 5th place. Robbie Kerr, 79, goes ahead of Sam Hancock. Hancock running wide over the curbs, but not as wide as Justin Keane, 2 spots behind him. Keane loses a place there, drops down to 9th, and this is the battle for 10th. Andy Booth chasing Adam Wilcox. Kiwi driver closing in under braking. Turning right and then into the re-profiled Ireland bends. The driver from the Irish Republic ahead of the 2 Ulstermen. Lyons in 2nd place, Mullen in 3rd. And a big slide there as well from Tarling. You can see how hard these guys are trying. They have more power than grip. That's the whole point of the cars, to make the driver work for his living. Hancock behind him in 5th place. Then it's Kerr in 6th, Bleekemolen in 7th, Sergela in 8th, and Justin Keane in 9th place, ahead of the battle between Wilcox and Booth. Well, a challenge again on Sam Hancock from Robbie Kerr. Gets him going in there into Cops Corner, 100 miles an hour. They're both on the dirt on the outside. They'll both lose places there, surely. Well, that's going to be a 4-way scrap then coming up under braking for the next corner. Fantastic stuff. Hancock now drop back, and again Justin Keane getting very, very wide and onto the gravel. Andy Booth now, and ahead of Keane has gone Adam Wilcox. So now Booth closes down under braking, down the inside, he's over the curbs to avoid the contact there. And Keane goes wide to avoid contact on the way out as well. Now Booth again curb hopping on the exit of Ireland. Well, Justin Keane stays ahead, but under braking here, again going down the inside is the Kiwi. Maybe Booth has got a little bit of gravel in his brakes, that would certainly hold him up. Further back, Bjorn Wertheim sliding, Paul Munn, and down the inside, oh my goodness me, Mark McLaughlin very sideways coming in there, little rub between the two of them. Blue and yellow car just easing ahead there as they come out of Beckett's. Here comes Faulkner then, Lyons the yellow car, and down the inside comes Mullen, and that's exactly what I was referring to. Desperately late on the brakes, forces Lyons over onto the curbs. Lyons loses a lot of time. And I would like to put money on the fact that Tim Mullen has not even looked like making a passing manoeuvre there so far this race, specifically so he could catch Lyons unawares. The 10 car, the white car of Bleekemolen, behind him the number 4 silver machine of Sergela. That's Holland versus Finland. Now Richard Tarling in 4th, can see the 3rd place man getting closer to him. And the battle for 6th as alive as ever. Just ahead of them, 79 car of Robbie Kerr. And Bleekemolen really under assault here. Topi Sergela looking one side, then the other. Down to the inside here as they come into the braking area for Cops, but it's no go. 100 mile an hour corner is no place to make contact with your rivals. Sergela thinks better of it. Faulkner now with breathing room as Mullen comes under assault from Lyons. Oh, contact! He spins him round as he hits him up the back and collects his own wheel on the back of the spun car. He's out of the race. Well, poetic justice perhaps there. Lyons making a mistake under braking, hitting Mullen and then hitting the spun car himself and losing his own wheel. What damage will that have done to Mullen as Bleekemolen is passed by Sergela and around the outside by Sam Hancock. Yes, the black car does it. What a good move. Bleekemolen comes back down the inside. Hancock loses the place again, but Bleekemolen in too fast. He's got the inside line here though. Sam Hancock around the outside, to the right, to the left, and again to the right, and still can't get past. Bleekemolen fighting tooth and nail for that one. Great defending by the Dutch driver. But there, walking away, is the championship leader, Richard Lyons. He really didn't need to retire from a race at this stage in the game. And out to Tim Mullen. The red-headed youngster will be even more disappointed. For Damien Faulkner, though, the pressure off and a cruise to the flag to take his first win in the Palmer Audi Championship in 1999 at Silverstone. Well, a very, very toughly fought race, and the positions being fought all the way down the line. We rode there across the line in second place with Richard Tarling, and here is the battle for penultimate spot. But that is what decided the battle for second place. Lyons hits Mullen, they both spin and eventually both retire. One on the spot there, Richard Lyons, Tim Mullen going back to the pits with his damaged car. Dr. Jonathan Palmer presents the winner's garland to Damien Faulkner with his congratulations. And will the Irishman follow last year's champion into Formula 3000, or will it be fellow Irishman Richard Lyons still the championship leader? Well, Faulkner then, his first victory, third in the points, but still within shouting distance of the title. Tim Mullen taking pole position for round 12 of the Formula Parma Audi Championship at Brands Hatch by just 12 hundredths of a second from Mark McLaughlin, the 33 car lining up alongside him. McLaughlin himself just 2 thousandths of a second quicker than Martin Smith, who starts the race in third place. There's Smith in the number 3 car, and alongside him, fourth on the grid, the winner last time out, just 4 thousandths slower than Smith in the 24 machine. In fact, the top 6 on the grid covered by 77 hundredths of a second, the top 12 by just 2 tenths. That's how close it is in the Formula Parma Audi Championship. Identical chassis, engines and cars mean that the machinery really is as level as you could possibly imagine. That makes racing very tough indeed for these drivers. A good getaway, vitally important, and a very good getaway there from Damien Faulkner. The silver car goes around the 2 yellow-nosed machines into second place from fourth on the grid. Adam Wilcox down the inside, trying to hold off Richard Lyons. Wilcox, the silver car, comes around the outside under braking. Oh, and he's just losing it there as he goes off into the dirt a little bit, riding with Toby Circular. Circular loses a couple of places as well. The number 2 car of Sam Hancock went past him. A good start from Hancock. Adam Wilcox dropping down the order there after a brave start, but Tim Mullen leading now from Damien Faulkner, Mark McLaughlin and Martin Smith battling over third place. Smith it is in third, McLaughlin fourth, then the championship leader Richard Lyons in 5th place. Little gap back to Andy Booth, he's in 6th, having qualified in 12th place. Here we are riding with the championship leader up to Druids, McLaughlin ahead, there goes Wilcox around the outside. On the dirty track he just can't slow the car down, and he went and dropped half a dozen places. He's in 10th place. Meanwhile, the battle for third continues. Andy Booth with a little puff of smoke from his orange machine. The white car there in 7th, Jeroen Bleekemolen, and somebody's off into the gravel. That's the American Jeff Schaefer, one of 2 American drivers in the championship this year. And that's the end of his race. He'll never get that one back. Smith in third, the first of the yellow-nosed cars. Then Mark McLaughlin. Then Lyons, Andy Booth, then Bleekemolen, Derek Hayes, Richard Tarling ahead of Adam Wilcox, Sam Hancock and Toby Circular. So Richard Tarling second in the championship standings, down in 9th place as the points leader. There he is. Car number 6 is in 5th and looking to challenge for 4th place. Dropping all the way down the hill, up the steep climb here to Druids. Cameras don't really show you how steep it is. Turning in, under braking on the rise at the top of the hill, and then down along bottom bend, flat out here in 4th gear, changing down to 3rd for the right-hander to bring you back out onto the straight about here. There Lyons puts his hand back on the wheel in 3rd gear now. Important to control the revs, not get too much on too soon or the tail will snap out sideways. Hits the turbo boost button to stay ahead of Andy Booth behind him. Only 4 hits of that button for each of the drivers during the course of the race. Gives them that extra little surge to hopefully get past their rivals, but you have to be judicious about when you use it. Bleekemolen under pressure from 18, that's Derek Hayes. Richard Tarling right behind him, and off goes James Pickford. Pickford losing control of the car out of paddock. It takes a long while for things to slow down as you plunge down the very steep hill, and he's obviously spun round and clattered off the barriers on the way up to Druids. What a big impact, but fortunately at the back of the car does less damage to the driver that way. He's certainly out of the race though, isn't he? Richard Tarling here in number 1, using his boost coming out of the final corner onto the straight. Doesn't manage to actually get the move put to bed around the outside of Derek Hayes to ride with Toby Circular past the site of Pickford's crash car. Well, Tarling didn't get past Derek Hayes, but he closed right up on him, and now he may have a chance to actually make a move under braking. Tim Mullen still leading comfortably from Damien Faulkner. Then Smith, McLaughlin and Lyons, the 3 yellow noses on their machines, marking them out in 3rd, 4th and 5th. Safety car is out though, because James Pickford's car in a position deemed to be dangerous. And so the race being brought under control of the safety car. Hand out of the cockpit from race leader Tim Mullen, acknowledging the fact that he will be slowing down unexpectedly, or in a place where you normally wouldn't if you were racing. Speed coming right down, and that will allow the marshals to move the car to a place of safety. As you can see, right on the edge of the track there, and if he can spin off there, then so conceivably could somebody else. You don't want him to be hitting a parked car. The S8 safety car leading them round at a reasonable pace to keep tyre temperatures up, to keep air flowing through the radiators so the engines don't overheat. That's most important, of course. Now the lights go off on the safety car. They come round to the restart. Tim Mullen has Damien Faulkner tucked right under his rear wing. Doubtless both of them will use a hit on the boost button to get them away from the line. Can he hold on out front, or will Faulkner be able to make it two in a row? Justin Keane, car number 7, goes around the outside of Toby Sergula into 12th at the restart. Mullen leads, but look at this, Richard Lyons, car 6, going around the outside of Mark McLaughlin in 33, but he's opened himself up to attack from Andy Booth for 6th place. Lyons and Booth, they make contact at the bottom of the hill. Well, they look to have got away with that. Toby Sergula tries to come back, and Justin Keane, 2 wheels on the dirt on the inside, and he doesn't manage it, loses drive there. Jon Wertheim right behind him as we ride again with Sergula. Keane ahead, Sergula keeping a very tight line mid-corner, and that shows just how close Jon Wertheim must be. Andy Booth, the orange car, under pressure now from Jeroen Bleekemolen, the Dutch driver, looking to the inside. Booth giving him short shrift there. So Booth holds on to 6th, and positions in the top 5 ahead of him unchanged. Derek Hayes, 18, and Richard Tarling, 1 there, 8 and 9, behind Bleekemolen's white car. And in 10th place, Adam Wilcox, Mullen, Faulkner, Smith, McLaughlin, Lyons and Booth. That's the top half dozen. Bleekemolen with the rest of the field seemingly all within a car length of each other, right behind him. Closing stages then, and for Tim Mullen, victory looks, well, if anything in motor racing can ever be assured, pretty much assured. Needs to keep his concentration high, and I'm sure the presence of Damien Faulkner in his mirrors will help do that. Faulkner on a high after winning in Wales the last time out, determined, I'm sure, to make sure Tim Mullen has no easy ride. Faulkner in 2nd place. Martin Smith, though, is closing on him in 3rd. There's the number 3 car. McLaughlin and Lyons, then Booth, Bleekemolen, Hayes, Tarling, Wilcox and the rest streaming through. And off goes number 8, and that's Paul Munn in trouble. British driver gets himself going again, hasn't lost any parts of the car, so he should continue. And on to the final lap of this short Indy circuit at Brands Hatch goes the race leader, followed by everybody else, and again Richard Tarling tries to wrest 8th place from Derek Hayes, and again comes up short of a solution to the perpetual problem of overtaking the 18 car there at Paddock Hill Bend. Jon Wertheim there, just on the tail of Toby Sergula, and he's got Robbie Kerr right behind him, but again no moves there. Richard Lyons looking to shape up behind Mark McLaughlin for 4th place, but the race leader still from Damien Faulkner by a couple of car lengths. Riding out to the final corner with Richard Lyons, McLaughlin ahead of him, and any chase to the line will be academic now. Tim Mullen wins from Damien Faulkner, Martin Smith in 3rd place, and it was close but no cigar for Lyons. He takes 5th behind Mark McLaughlin. But that does mean that he's able to extend his championship advantage over Richard Tarling, who only finished in 9th place. Not the greatest result then for the championship leader, but a great result for Tim Mullen, his first win in the Formula Parma Audi Series. So the Ulsterman wins by half a second from Damien Faulkner. Martin Smith in 3rd ahead of McLaughlin, Lyons and Booth. Martin Smith, the number 3 machine, leading the Formula Parma Audi field around on the rolling start pace lap at Brands Hatch. Alongside him, Mark McLaughlin, qualified just 0.07 of a second slower. 3rd place, Richard Tarling, 0.005 of a second slower than McLaughlin, and in 4th, Danny Watts, leading the rest of the 23-car field around. Damien Faulkner, who won the first race at Brands Hatch, starts 5 on the low side of the racetrack, not perhaps the best at Brands Hatch. To ride down into paddock the first time, Martin Smith on the inside looks as though he's holding his line from Mark McLaughlin. Toby Sergula sees a A couple of cars run wide ahead of him and aims up the inside into Druids. That's vital if you want to avoid losing track position. 23 cars and some of them take it to the dirt as they come down into Graham Hill Bend at the bottom of the hill. That's Adam Wilcox who was kicking up dust on the inside. Wilcox starting in 10th place and still the battle for the lead. This time not featuring Martin Smith though, he's been edged down into 3rd place. Mark McLaughlin with Richard Tarling, the championship points leader, right with him. So there is Tarling, underneath he goes, number 1 machine, moving into the lead ahead of McLaughlin. McLaughlin dives back down on the inside, very brave move indeed. Nearly paid for it by losing his front wing, but just room for Richard Tarling to go by. McLaughlin on the inside, into Druids, no chance for him to get by there. Martin Smith still in 3rd place. Riding now with Richard Lyons in 4th. Lyons started in 6th place, so he made a good getaway. Oh, contact, the rainbow colours of Bjorn Wertheim spinning out. Jeff Schaefer, number 28 there. Schaefer started 18th, Wertheim in 20th place. Schaefer gets going again. Here is the race and points leader, Richard Tarling, leading from Mark McLaughlin, riding with Topi Sergula, right behind Jeroen Bleekemolen. They're just outside the top 10 in 11th and 12th places, chasing Derek Hayes across the line. Fanning out behind them, the car with the red top, that's Tim Mullen, and the orange machine going around the outside is Andy Booth. Booth making the move there in the number 9 car, didn't quite come to terms with Mullen though. Still behind Sergula, both of them, riding again with Sergula, the Finnish driver. Ahead of him is the Dutchman Bleekemolen. Ahead of him, Derek Hayes. Bleekemolen diving to the inside as they come around bottom bend. He gets inside as well. Excellent use of the turbo boost button. Not a recognised overtaking place, but he gets by anyway. Hayes, Sergula runs wide, through goes Tim Mullen. Mullen, winner of the first part of this double-headed race meeting at Brands Hatch. Out front there, still it's yellow cars that dominate. Under pressure now is Richard Lyons. Damien Faulkner right behind him, the Irish driver, one of a pair of Irish drivers in the field. 8 different nationalities in this category, competing for positions in Brands Hatch. And Adam Wilcox' silver car goes around the outside of Edward Redfern into Paddock Bend. Redfern holds on. Both these men experienced karters. Redfern slightly newer to single-seater racing than Wilcox. He's raced in Formula Opel as well. Makes a mistake at Druids. Now going to lose a place to the number 18 machine. Past him goes Irishman Derek Hayes, or tries to at least. Hayes gets very wide around the outside. Out of Paddock Hill Bend onto the dirt as Wilcox meets all the road. Riding again with Topi Sergula. Sergula behind Tim Mullen and Jeroen Bleekemolen, the white machine, 2 ahead of him. Long stream of cars, he pulls out of the slipstream, trying to go around the outside into Paddock. The inside line is tighter but easier to defend. That move doesn't happen for him. Further back, the red, white and blue machine of Derek Hill trying to go past the rainbow-coloured car of Bjorn Wertheim. Silver car in between the two of them is Robbie Kerr. Oh, and Hill gets pushed off. Into the barriers he goes. Well, the earlier visit to Brands Hatch at the beginning of the year saw Hill have a monster qualifying crash at Paddock. Recovered from that without any ill effects. Much smaller incident there, but still out of the race. Riding with Mark McLaughlin, chasing Richard Tarling, the race leader, as picking up a place there, Justin Keane, the number 7. Yellow flags are out, and that's a safety car situation. The race is being brought under control to allow them to recover Derek Hill's car from the downhill side here on the exit of Druids, running down to Graham Hill Bend. Derek Hill and Graham Hill, no relation. Derek Hill, though, is the son of another famous racing Hill, Phil Hill, Ferrari's 1961 Formula 1 world champion. And there's a replay of his incident. Clatters off the barrier, and the car unable to move there. Not really in a particularly safe position, as you can see. Safety car pulls off though fairly quickly, and away we go again. Richard Tarling, Mark McLaughlin, and then side by side on the low side of the racetrack. Smith on the high side. Lyons. Smith holds on. Richard Lyons stays in 4th place. Got to make these moves though at the restart, and it'll all get very frantic and scrabbly again for a moment. Smith and Lyons still 3rd and 4th. Right behind them, Faulkner and Hancock. Riding again down the hill with Richard Lyons. Top group of drivers much closer together now after the safety car, but Richard Tarling determined to make a break. Hopefully, having not been too badly challenged for the lead, he'll have saved a couple of squirts of his boost button just to jump ahead of the field again. McLaughlin in 2nd place. The rest of the field all very closely packed. Oh, sounds of disaster. Off goes Jonathan T, starting in the 22 car. That's the field's spare car in the colours of the Astra Mega Formula 3000 team that the reigning champion drives. And there is 23, Pegas Hermanto. He's in trouble at the bottom of the hill. Walking away there in the background as the field comes round again. Jonathan T being off the track, making contact with Jeff Schaefer just about here. Oh, and it happens again. Around goes Tim Mullins, number 12 machine. Oh, and somebody's gone off on the outside, trying to avoid Mullins' stationary car in the middle of the field, and that is Andy Booth. Booth has gone off, and ironically, Mullen manages to get going again. And did Booth actually hit the number 22 car? Looks as though he may have. Riding now down Graham Hill into Graham Hill Bend with Mark McLaughlin. Right behind him is Smith, then Lyons, Faulkner, Hancock, and off. Oh dear, things getting worse and worse for Danny Watts. Dropped right out of the top 5 earlier on, and now off the racetrack. Well, Richard Tarling from the front row of the grid, largely unchallenged in this race. Started in 3rd place, made one move to move up at the start, and another couple of laps later to take the race lead. Has managed to stay ahead of the rest of the pack ever since. Still, as you can see, battles going on all the way down the field. Very much an indicator of just how close these cars and drivers really are in the championship. Well, the race leader, despite the equality of machinery, managing to hold them off. He gets that little jump. There's Danny Watts in the pits, summoned in by race officials for a quiet word. Well, out he goes. His race completely ruined anyway. Richard Lyons in 4th place. Still under pressure from Damien Faulkner. Faulkner right behind him there. But just a lap left for the Irish driver to try and pull something out of the bag, and Richard Lyons has managed to resist all his efforts so far. Lyons running a little wide out of paddock, up to Druids they go. Take a nice wide racing line because Faulkner wasn't close enough to get inside him. The Irishman right with the yellow car ahead of him. Can't do much about it. Tarling, McLaughlin, Smith, Lyons. Here we are on board with him. Into McLaren. And still Faulkner stays behind him. The battle for 2nd will go all the way to the line, but Mark McLaughlin surely can't lose it from there. Nor can Richard Tarling. Victory for him at Brands Hatch. And that helps increase his points lead. McLaughlin a narrow 2nd over Martin Smith, the man who took pole position, finishing 3rd here ahead of Lyons, Faulkner and Hancock.
Robbie Kerr led round 16 of the ultra-fast Thruxton circuit. Championship leader Tarling was in his wheel tracks with a major battle behind them.
And this time Damien Faulkner and Justin Keener together coming through the chicane, Keane over the curb. And that means that Damien Faulkner hangs on to the place, but now behind them is Richard Lyons up into the top 6. Richard Lyons turning through in 6th place. Now that of course helps him a little bit more in the championship. You see the damage there on the left-hand side from where he bounced off Danny Watts' car earlier on. Heading up towards the complex, ready now to turn into the right-hander, into Campbell. Then towards Cobb, then Seagrave, and then on towards Noble. All the corners named after British winners of the World Land Speed Record. Up a gear goes Richard Lyons. If he still has the ability to use the boost button, now is the time to do it. That's got to be the way to get himself back onto the tail there of the cars ahead. Justin Keane, his next target. And again, look at the way that Richard Lyons is fighting the car all the way around the circuit. Richard Tarling, I just think now, is closing a little bit on this man. Robbie Kerr looks as though he might be able to extend the gap if necessary. But Richard Tarling, I reckon, is closer this time around. Fourth is Faulkner, fifth coming towards us now in the blue and white car is Keane. And sixth, the yellow and black entry, that in the hands of Richard Lyons. Turning through the chicane then, comes the leading group. Richard Lyons is closing all the time now onto the tail of Keane, and ahead of Keane is a sideways Damien Faulkner. Then number 10, Jeroen Blikkenmolen going through. And number 42, Adam Wilcox there, moved into FPA having had an aborted effort in Formula 3 last season. Past the pits, 2 more laps to go then. There's contact at the chicane, 2 cars going off there. One of them looks like being Tim Mullen again, and the other car involved in all of that was 28 Jeff Schaefer, who rejoins right in front of Paul Munn. Jeroen Blikkenmolen turning his way through the complex now. Richard Tarling already clear, but Richard Lyons there coming under more and more pressure. Right on his tail now is Danny Watts as they make their way out of the complex. Remember, they clashed earlier on in the race. Damien Faulkner with Justin Keane, not only right on his tail, but looking for a way through on the inside line there. Door closed, can't find a way through. Contact and off again goes Jeff Schaefer's blue car. By the look of it, pitched at pretty high speed off into the tyre barrier there. Robbie Kerr turning his way through for what is likely to be now his second victory of the season. In his mirrors he can see Richard Tarling's car. Robbie sadly not a threat in the championship, and therefore he's aware, I reckon, that Richard Tarling isn't going to try anything heroic on this the last corner. Equally, Richard is too far back to even contemplate it, I would have said now. So right, then left, then right again. Up towards the checkered flag. Robbie Kerr is going to win here at Thruxton. There in third place is Derek Hayes, but the man between the two is Richard Tarling, on target now to extend his advantage in the championship. Richard Tarling comes across the line. There for fourth place, Damien Faulkner just hanging on ahead of Justin Keane, with the yellow car of Richard Lyons making it home in sixth place. So the top 3 drivers on the podium, and the battle between Richard Tarling and Richard Lyons goes down to the wire.
Field comes round under the pace car for the 17th and final round of the 1999 Formula Parma Audi Championship. On the inside is Derek Hayes, on the outside number 7 Justin Keane. They're the front row ahead of championship challenger Richard Tarling. His arch rival Richard Lyons, the only man who can upset his championship chances here at Thruxton, well back on the grid after a disappointing practice and first race at this doubleheader meeting. Riding with Tarling then, the number 1 car really needs to keep himself right up front here, but also out of trouble, and that's often more easily said than done. He finds himself in a sandwich going down into the complex for the first time, drops down into 7th place, and who's this right behind him as we ride on board? It's his rival, Richard Lyons, and this could be where the championship is decided. Lyons needs a very good finish indeed, and Tarling needs to keep it on the road. Damien Faulkner, a race winner already in the championship, battling further down the order around the flat-out sweeps of Thruxton Circuit. It's the fastest track on their calendar in the 99 season, and a great place to decide the race. Lyons going brave on the first lap, riding with Tarling as his rival passes him. Tarling has just gone backwards through the field on this opening tour of Thruxton, and that won't be doing him any good at all. His confidence will undoubtedly have taken a knock, but he goes back inside Richard Lyons, the two of them squirming for grip here at the chicane. And as Andrew Booth runs out of road, drops a couple of places, Richard Tarling is back ahead of Richard Lyons. They're still in the top 10, but they're a long way from the lead battle. 79 Robbie Kerr holding position, and recovering from a spin here, Danny Watts. Gyrates the car again. Has he lost the engine? Oh, nearly. Well, he will be very flustered man. Derek Hayes and Justin Keane battling for the lead, but it's all action behind them. Tim Mullen, Sam Hancock and Bjorn Wertheim in the 99, the rainbow-coloured car, having a strong race here. There he is in 6th position. Tarling and Lyons 7th and 8th behind as they go through these high-speed flat-out bumps at Thruxton, and Richard Lyons is in trouble. Lyons' front nose wing on the right-hand side of the car is bent up to the vertical, and that means that he will be losing front-end grip, and that is a very, very bad news situation indeed for him. All over the grass he goes. You can see the wing there between the mirror and the car at the front. That should be down horizontal. It's not a high downforce circuit, Thruxton, but you do need good balance and speed. Robbie Kerr goes through the chicane there, gets it wrong under braking, and so does Richard Lyons. He won't make it through, bounces over there, comes on behind Andy Booth. They will have over-revved his engine there a little bit as well, and those shocks over the curbs won't be helping. Justin Keane leads then from Derek Hayes. 3rd place is Robbie Kerr. 4th, Sam Hancock, ahead of Wertheim, Mullen and Tarling. Richard Lyons down there battling now with Andy Booth for survival. And this is a replay coming up in the glare of the sunshine to the club chicane. Richard Tarling on the inside there, and that is the contact that bends up Richard Lyons' nose wing, and that may well have fatally injured his championship challenge. So Keane leads from Hayes. Then you can see the silver car of Kerr. The black car is Hancock. Wertheim comes up the inside. The Swede very determined indeed. Here he almost loses it. Sam Hancock holds on. Well, he's got nerves of steel because Wertheim was getting crossed up inside him under braking. Sam Hancock held on to that one. And Richard Lyons, hand out to the cockpit. I think he is going to call it a day here. Oh, and off heavily backwards has gone Paul Munn. He's in the barriers. He's lost it under braking for the chicane. Those tyre walls are very thick there because that is a high-speed place to go off. And you really do have to be pretty brave here. Bjorn Wertheim gets the chicane right. Almost everybody else behind him gets it wrong, including the number 3 machine of Martin Smith all over the curbs. Damien Faulkner, the Irish driver, 3rd in points, is behind him. Picks up a couple of places there as other people get distracted by Smith, and it all gets very close indeed. It's the leaders. It is the race leader, Justin Keane, in the barriers, and that certainly looked like Derek Hayes moving off there. Hand out to the cockpit means that the yellow flags are being seen there by Richard Tarling in the complex. Well, that is a good overtaking place, but it's also a good place to have a tangle. We saw Justin Keane stepping out of his car, and it looks as though Derek Hayes has gone a little further. 1st and 2nd in the race, now out of it. And that means that Robbie Kerr, the winner of race 1 here at Thruxton, is now from 3rd place promoted to the lead. Richard Tarling goes from 7th up to 5th place. And here is a replay of Justin Keane 7 and Derek Hayes getting crossed up, diving down the inside, and not quite being able to avoid Keane at the apex of Cobb, the 2nd section of that complex. Takes off his rear wheel and damages his own front wheel. He continues, but I'm sure he can see the damage. So they are out of it, and now Robbie Kerr leads, and off goes Mark McLaughlin again, this time very much more consistent with going out of the race as he tangles with Bagoj Hermanto. Mark McLaughlin tangled with Edward Redfern there earlier and escaped from damage. Hermanto not looking even slightly impressed with that. Out of the complex then and onto the fast run around the back of the circuit go the race leaders. Tarling in 6th position. And Damien Faulkner behind him. He's being chased by 42, that's Adam Wilcox. Wilcox showing no ill effects, having leapt over the chicane after challenging Andy Booth. Tim Mullen in 3rd place there ahead of the black car of Sam Hancock. Number 2 is in 4th place. Richard Tarling following them through in 5th. And just the chicane to deal with now for Robbie Kerr. Bjorn Wertheim will have to make a rocket-assisted attempt from that far back if he's going to try anything at all. And he has no chance to do so. The Swede will finish 2nd here, but Robbie Kerr will take the checkered flag to make it a double victory, season-ending weekend for himself at Thruxton. And for Richard Tarling, the checkered flag means not victory, but victory in the championship. He outbreaks himself across the line in a cloud of smoke, and Richard Tarling is the champion. Richard Lyons comes across the line, deflated and disappointed undoubtedly. He takes the runner-up spot. Damien Faulkner will finish third in points. And Tim Mullen, third here at Thruxton, pushes himself up into the fourth position in the championship table. There is Martin Smith, car number 3, pulling up alongside Richard Tarling. And Tarling, as he comes back to the pits, deciding that a celebratory donut may well be in order. And you can hardly blame the man, having clinched one of the tougher championships in British motor racing, enjoying himself and putting on a display that delighted the fans, rather less so the stewards. Apparently they found this to be unacceptable behaviour and fined him for his exuberance. Formula Palmer Audi Championship is a very tough nut to crack, and as we've seen with last year's champion Justin Wilson going on to score points in his first season in Formula 3000 and look very impressive indeed, especially up against Formula 3 champions from all over Europe. What will we see from this year's champion Richard Tarling when he moves up into 3000 next year? Well, Kerr, Hancock and Wertheim joined on the podium by the new champion. He looks delighted, and so he should do.